Bagley, Chair of the Commission. Welcome to our January 13th, 2021 recessed public meeting. The Planning Commission advises the County Board on matters pertaining to planning and development in our community. This is the second of 2 evenings scheduled for our public hearings. Tonight, we will be hearing the proposal for an ordinance to authorize the placement of non-commercial banners on streetlight poles in the public right-of-way at National Landing. But first, we will be voting to adjourn to a non-public working session as permitted under Virginia law. We will return no sooner than 7:30 p.m. I now move that the Planning Commission convene a closed meeting as authorized by Virginia Code Section 2.2-3711A8 for the purpose of consultation with the county attorney concerning 1, the requirements of the Freedom of Information Act for meetings and the disclosure of public records. 2, requirements applicable to the Planning Commission under the State and Local Government Conflict of Interests Act and Public Records Act. And 3, the statutory bases for the county's comprehensive planning process and special exception site plan process, permitted considerations relevant to those processes, and the Planning Commission's roles and responsibility in them. I'll now call the roll. Commissioner Siegel.
Here.
It's aye or nay? We have a motion on the floor.
Oh, it's a motion. Aye.
Okay. Commissioner Schroll.
Aye.
Commissioner Gearing.
Aye.
Commissioner Morton.
Aye.
Commissioner Patel. I'll go off mute, Commissioner Patel. And she's here, but not on. I'll skip over to Commissioner Steinberger. I don't think she's attending yet. Commissioner Peterson.
Aye.
Commissioner Bagley.
Aye.
Commissioner Sarley.
Aye.
I vote aye. Commissioner Weir is not in attendance yet. And I'll try one more time. Commissioner Patel. Okay. The ayes have it, so we will now go offline and log into the other meeting. We will return to this meeting no sooner than 7:30 to those who are watching and attending as members of the public and applicants and staff. You can hang up, commission members can hang up now. Welcome back. I'm making a motion now. I move that the members of the Planning Commission certify, one, that only public business matters lawfully exempted from open meeting requirements under Chapter 37, Title 2.2 of the Code of Virginia, and two, only such public business matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed meeting was convened were heard, discussed, or considered by the commission. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Weir. We take vote. Commissioner Weir?
Aye.
Commissioner Siegel?
Aye.
Commissioner Schroll?
Aye.
Commissioner Gearing?
Aye.
Commissioner Morton?
Aye.
Commissioner Patel? Still absent. Commissioner Steinberger?
Aye.
Commissioner Peterson?
Aye.
Commissioner Bagley?
Aye.
Commissioner Sarli?
Apologies, I just logged in. What are we voting on?
The motion to essentially that we certify that we only discuss things that we were supposed to discuss at the closed meeting under Virginia law. Aye, and I vote aye. The motion passes, so we are back in public session. For those just joining us, we will be hearing the proposal for an ordinance to authorize the placement of non-commercial banners on streetlight poles in the public right-of-way in National Landing. After that, we have some administrative items to cover. Some items that I will be sharing with you now, for the safety of our staff and residents, we're holding this meeting virtually. Welcome to our commissioners, county staff, applicants, and community members who are all joining us remotely. We're legally authorized to hold this virtual meeting based on the governor's executive orders, legislation adopted by the Virginia General Assembly, and the county board's continuity of operations ordinance adopted in March of 2020. Before we begin, I have a few specifics to orient everyone to this environment. Today's meeting is available as a broadcast with closed captioning on Comcast Xfinity channels 25 and 1085, Version FiOS channels 39 and 40, and the county website. Audio of today's meeting is available via phone. If commissioners, presenters, or speakers need internet connectivity during today's meeting, please reconnect to us by phone. You can use the number provided in the Teams invite, which is 347-973-6905, using the conference ID 348-963-714#, and registered speakers have received Ms. Johnson's telephone number in their speaker registration confirmation. For other presenters and speakers joining us through Microsoft Teams, please keep your phones and devices muted until you're called upon. Please turn off the sound to any other devices around you to minimize interference. When called upon to speak, you must unmute yourself by clicking on the microphone icon that's located on your meeting command bar. None of us here on this side have any ability to unmute you. Only you can do that. If you are dialing in by phone, press *6 to unmute. Commissioners, if you wish to be recognized to speak, please use your hand raise function or turn on your video. Unmute your microphone to signal your interest, and I will call upon you in order. Public speakers, you will be called upon by the clerk at an assigned time. Pre-registration to speak at tonight's hearing was required. We are not able to accommodate any additional speakers. Public comment will take place within the same time frames as we would provide at an in-person meeting. That means speakers have 3 minutes to comment as individuals, 5 minutes to speak if representing an organization. A speaker timer will be displayed on the screen by the clerk. If you're dialing in by phone and unable to see the screen, we will provide an audible warning when 30 seconds are remaining. You will be muted when your time is concluded. The meeting chat is active for presenters or commissioners who need technical assistance only. Do not use the meeting chat for discussion, public comment, questions about agenda items, or requests for more information. All public comment must be shared verbally for the record during the assigned testimony period. Lastly, this is a public forum. Tonight's meeting will be recorded and posted to the county website. All information associated with today's meeting, whether written or spoken, is subject to the Virginia Freedom of Information Act requirements. Again, as I mentioned, the agenda items tonight are the ordinance to allow the placement of streetlight pole banners throughout the area of the National Landing bid. Madam Clerk, please call the first item.
Our first item, as the chair mentioned, is regarding the banners at the National Landing bid. We have Kate Payne, our AED staff, to present this item this evening.
Thank you, Ms. Payne.
All right, just checking to make sure that everyone can see my screen.
Yes.
Is that correct? Okay, great. As said, my name is Kate Payne. I'm with AED, and I'm here today in the capacity of my role as the Arlington County liaison to the 3 bids in the county. I'm also joined by Rob Mandel. He's the Deputy Executive Director of the National Landing bid, and we have been in coordination with several departments in the county, including Matt Matuzik of CPHD, as well as representatives from DES, Parks, and similar. So we are here today to present the banner system sign ordinance. So this is an ordinance on the county board's own motion to authorize the placement of non-commercial banners on streetlight poles in the public right-of-way located in the boundaries of the National Landing Business Improvement District as authorized by the Arlington County zoning ordinance. This type of ordinance or similar ordinance has been done in Arlington a number of times. First, you'll see the Crystal City bid. We'll talk about this in the following slides, but this system or similar ordinance was enacted to allow for the placement of non-commercial banners for the Crystal City bid, which is now the National Landing bid. As I mentioned, we'll talk about in the next slides. Next, Roslyn has used a similar ordinance to allow for the placement of their non-commercial signs within the boundaries of the Roslyn bid. And finally, and most recently in 2018, this ordinance was used to place non-commercial banners along the Columbia Pike. And with that, I'm going to pass it over to Rob to present a few slides here.
Thanks, Kate. Should I turn on video or am I good on just audio?
You're good on audio. We probably wouldn't see you anyway because we're looking at the slides.
That's a good point. Thanks very much. Good evening, everybody. My name is Rob Mandel. I'm the Deputy Executive Director for the National Landing Business Improvement District. As Kate noted, the bid is requesting authorization of National Landing banners throughout Crystal City, Pentagon City, and Potomac Yard neighborhoods, inclusive of the entire Business Improvement District boundary. This request is a step towards the implementation of 2 key priorities that we've outlined in our county board approved fiscal year 2021 work plan. These include the building of a unified identity for the whole National Landing downtown and the extension of some of our core bid services, including our banner program, to the expansion areas. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. The 420 light posts that have banners, there's 420 light posts with banners proposed for Crystal City in this package. These were actually already installed in June and July of 2020 and were previously covered by an earlier board authorization that was actually inherited by the bid from Vernado Charles E. Smith. That authorization dates back to 2004. You can go to the next slide. An additional 316 posts would receive banners under this proposal. 187 posts, and by posts I do mean light poles, would be located in Pentagon City, and 129 are located in the Potomac Yard neighborhood. This puts a total of 736 light poles that would have banners throughout the National Landing District. On the slide here, you can see examples of the current design. These designs were produced by a pretty well-known environmental graphics firm, Pentagram. They're best known for their work on High Line in New York City, so they're really top-notch, and we're proud of the work that they've produced. If you can go to the next slide. Future designs will reflect similar messaging. They'll continue to elevate the neighborhood identities and spotlight key non-commercial destinations and attractions, such as Long Bridge Park. You can go to the next slide. The system itself consists of 3 sign sizes. These were established to ensure compliance with engineering standards related to wind loads, as well as minimum hanging heights and distance from curbs to prevent interference with pedestrian and vehicular traffic. You can go to the next slide. Some other key details that I just wanted to point out. We have a maintenance agreement in place with our banner installation company. They conduct monthly inspections of the entire system, and we also have a contract with them to respond to emergency repairs. So just wanted to point out that the National Landing Bid is committed to making sure that the system remains looking tip-top. I'll also mention that the 736 light poles that are part of this system were all identified through field surveys and inspections. And they were evaluated to ensure that there were no adverse impacts on traffic safety at all. Another thing to point out is the total number and the density of the proposed systems in keeping with the existing Crystal City authorization, as well as other systems throughout the county. I also think it's important to point out, the National Landing Bid identity is strictly non-commercial in nature, and the bid is committed to respecting the requirement to ensure non-commercial messaging on the banner system itself. And while the authorization will enable the system to remain in place continuously, the bid understands that the county manager reserves the right to direct its removal at any time. So with that, I want to just say I appreciate your time and consideration for the requested expansion to extend the National Landing identity throughout Virginia's largest walkable downtown. We're very excited to see the proposed ordinance move forward, and I'll hand it back over to Kate, and happy to answer any questions after or any clarifications.
Thanks, Rob. And with that, this concludes our presentation. We'd like to open it up to questions, as this item is on the agenda for the January 23rd Arlington County Board meeting.
Thank you, Ms. Payne and Mr. Mandel. Before we get to any further discussions or questions, Madam Clerk, do we have any public commenters? Ms. Johnson? We'll come back to that. Do we have any commissions here that wish to comment? Hearing none. This was not before the Transportation Commission. And because it was not under the, this is the first time it's before the Planning Commission, it has not been before any of our subcommittees. So unless there are any public comments, we will then move on to the Planning Commission discussion. And if anybody has any questions for the applicant, now is the time to do so. Commissioner Peterson.
Thank you so much. I had a question about the funding for these flags. I recall from my days on the Fiscal Affairs Advisory Commission that bids are independent, but they receive funding from Arlington County. And so I was wondering, the banners that would not be in Arlington but would be in Alexandria, is Alexandria helping to support this, or are we just covering it and figure, like neighborly support, and they'll do something for the area as well later? Thank you.
Yeah, Rob, I don't know if you want to speak to that.
Sure. I should have clarified that when we speak about the National Landing District, we are referring only to the business improvement district boundaries that are located in Arlington County exclusively. So at this time, we don't anticipate any installations of banners as part of this effort or as part of our budget in Alexandria.
Okay, thanks so much.
Commissioner Schroll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Quick question about, two quick questions. So how did you arrive at the number of banners and then the size proposed at each location?
Sure, thanks, Commissioner Schroll. So we did in-field surveys in collaboration with our banner install team, and they evaluated what amounts to every single street pole throughout National Landing within the bid district, minus a few streets that got missed on the initial pass, it looks like, on Army Navy Drive. But because of the upcoming construction, we're going to leave those off. There's standards generally in the ordinance about heights and about interference with vehicular traffic and pedestrians. So we had those all evaluated, making sure that every pole could accommodate signs without interference of any traffic signage, any communicative signage, and that the sizes would be determined based on, we're really inspired by the types of sign poles that Arlington County has. So the three sign types that were on the slide deck, there's a larger one that's about 60 inches and a smaller one that's 48 inches. Those are kind of designed to accommodate the different sized poles that Arlington County has as standards and still meet the minimum installation heights. Okay.
And then I think a couple questions for either Ms. Payne or Mr. Matusik. So thank you, Mr. Mandel. So a question about how the number of signs here being proposed compares to the other bid areas in the county and the ones we have installed. So I guess sort of a question about percentage, like if, how many poles are in the other bid areas, and then how many poles have banners on them, and then kind of what are we doing here? Is it more or less or kind of comparable? Would be useful to know.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was a question that staff had initially as we heard from or saw in the proposal, 700 poles. That sounds like a lot, but when you think about the National Landing bid and the size of the bid as it compares to the size of Roslyn and actually what was the Crystal City bid where those banners are now, we did a brief analysis to see, how many acres are there in the Crystal City bid and how many banners were there, and did the same in Roslyn, and what is proposed is in line with that. So we feel comfortable with the amount of banners proposed given the size of the district. It is consistent with what we've approved in Roslyn and what was previously approved for Crystal City and has been in place in Crystal City.
Okay, great. And then my last question for either you, Ms. Payne, or Mr. Matusik is, what is the review process for banners? So if we have over 700 and, get some feedback that despite best efforts, one of the banners actually does cause some sightline issues, you don't have the sightlines you need for, health and safety. Is that just done administratively and it gets taken down? Like, what is the process for this to perhaps come back before the county board? Can you talk through that a little bit?
Matt, I don't know if you want to take that, or I can, one of the provisions in the ordinance is that the county manager can bring that down at any time, either one or all of the banners at any time directed. So that would likely be an administrative process if it does impact sightlines. Of course, we have these provisions in place as it relates to distances that the banner has to be to avoid pedestrian and traffic interference with those types of sight lines. That's, we worked with DES, did that structural analysis, made sure that the banners were abiding by all of those provisions that we have in place. But as it relates to if something were to happen, right, we do have, the county manager does have that authority if it'd come forward to bring one or any of the banners down.
Yeah, this is Matt Matuzek. That's exactly the issue. The resolution that would be adopted by the county board to allow this to occur will have specific language in it that allows the county within its own right of way to make those improvements or changes as they see fit, based on very clear criteria that I think one of the earlier slides was alluding to about the visual clutter, safety, and traffic impacts.
All right, thank you. I appreciate your answers, and I yield back, Mr. Chairman.
Commissioner Peterson, you have another question?
Yes, I do. Thank you very much, Chair. I had a quick question about your slide, additional information when talking about the banners. The second bullet said, will not adversely affect traffic safety to a significant degree. So I just wanted, when you were speaking, you said it wasn't going to affect traffic safety at all, but the slide said to a significant degree. And so I was kind of wondering about the discrepancy there and what is the degree that it does impact traffic safety, if some. Thanks.
That's a good catch. I probably shouldn't have said at all. I mean, any sign's going to have a visual impact. So I think that's really what we meant is what was on the slide in terms of no adverse impact.
Thank you.
I have a question. When it says non-commercial, I understand that would mean certainly you wouldn't put a Coca-Cola logo on it or Ford logo. But when you're doing part of these are to be wayfinding. You gave an example, for example, the park would be on there. Would something like the Semitic Theater be there, or would that be considered commercial? Or if the bid is sponsoring some sort of event, but it's a commercial event because it's a farmer's market or a fair, something like that. Where's the line between what's commercial and what's really part of the larger cultural or directional purpose of these signs?
Yeah, absolutely. And, we've gone back and forth, or I've been trying to understand what is commercial and what is non-commercial as well. But what we have proposed today is non-commercial. If the copy were to change for the banners, the bid would likely bring that to the county to confirm that it's non-commercial. As it relates to events, as you may know, the Columbia Pikes banner system advertises events and different, things throughout the year on their banner system. So that would be non-commercial, but the bid might propose different types of banner systems, we would confirm that they would be non-commercial with the county attorney's office.
Okay, good, thank you. Do we have any other questions? Oh, and we have confirmed that there are no public speakers for this item. Any other questions from the commission? If not, I'll move ahead to a motion. Let me offer one here. I move that the Planning Commission recommend that the County Board adopt, as per the County Board's own motion, the attached ordinance to authorize the placement of non-commercial banners on streetlight poles in the public right-of-way located in the boundaries of the National Landing Business Improvement District. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
And that is?
Commissioner Siegel.
Thank you. Does anybody have a discussion? Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, let's move to a vote. Commissioner Weir.
Aye.
Commissioner Siegel.
Aye.
Commissioner Schroll.
Aye.
Commissioner Hughes is absent. Commissioner Guerin.
Aye.
Commissioner Morton.
Aye.
Commissioner Patel is absent. Commissioner Steinberger.
Aye.
Commissioner Bagley.
Aye.
Commissioner Peterson.
Aye.
Commissioner Sarley.
Aye.
And I will vote aye as well. It passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Thank you to Ms. Payne, Mr. Matusik, and Mr. Mandel. Go forth and once you can get through the county board, we'll be looking forward to seeing your signs.
Thank you very much.
Madam Clerk, the next items, are they our admin items?
Yes, we're now into the committee reports and other business.
Thank you. Do we have an SPRC report from Commissioner Morton?
Hi, thank you, Chair Lantelmi. I don't have much to report. We do have a number of projects that are ongoing, so that is big news. I will go through them quickly. We have transitioned, as I think you know, from having 2 online engagement sessions and 1 virtual meeting to 1 online engagement session on all topics and then 2 virtual meetings. So I'll go quickly through the projects. The project I'm chairing, Courthouse Landmark, has concluded 3 SPRC engagements. Fort Henry Gardens, which is chaired by Commissioner Bagley, supported by Commissioner Guerin, has had 1 online engagement and 1 virtual. We are now just wrapped up with 2001 South Clark Street, chaired by Commissioner Weir. That initial engagement online engagement session has just concluded. Also concluding today, I believe, is the RCA project chaired by Commissioner Steinberger. We have concluded an online engagement session for Potomac Yard Land Bay C East, which is being chaired by Commissioner Hughes, supported by Commissioner Sarley. A virtual meeting, I believe, will be coming up in February. And we will be starting an online engagement session later on this month for the Vernon Street Duplex project, which is being chaired by Commissioner Patel. So I think that's it. We've got a few big projects coming up that I will be able to report on next time.
Thank you very much. Our LRPC report, Commissioner Schroll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So I guess 3 things to mention. So first, we had 2, our most recent online engagement for the special GLUP study for Pershing Drive. And so that concluded this week, or I guess last Friday, as did one for the Clarendon planning process. Working with staff on an upcoming engagement for the Pershing Drive Special Club Study, which will be on January 27th, and talking to staff later this week on the next engagement for Clarendon as well, which is likely to be at the end of this month or early February. The other thing to mention is that I've been the liaison to the Vision Zero planning process. I sent around earlier this evening kind of an update on that to you all. The working group has developed over the course of several months some action items. It's included in the email as a spreadsheet with several tabs. Staff is requesting kind of feedback on those through January 19th. So please send it along to staff, and the staff contact is included in the email. Subsequent to that, there will be a release of kind of the full draft plan the last week of the month. And then there will be about 6 weeks for kind of open comment period, including a virtual meeting on February 11th from 7 to 8 p.m. and also an open kind of online forum that will be open from starting the week of January 25th when the plan comes out through February 28th. So please let me know if you have any questions, but that concludes my presentation unless Commissioner Gearin, who's helping me this year with LRPC, has anything to add.
Okay, Commissioner Gearin.
Thank you, Commissioner Schroll. No, I have nothing to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Weir, can you give us the ZOCO report?
Yeah, so the zoning committee is going to be meeting on January 19th virtually. The information for the meeting is on the zoning committee webpage. There will be 2 topics: the Columbia Pike Neighborhood Form-Based Code TDR multiplier and affordable housing bonus height. The agenda is on the website for both of those. The staff memos and presentations are forthcoming. And that's that.
Thank you. Commissioner Hughes is not here for the Form-Based Code Advisory Committee, but we will then move on to Commissioner Siegel. Can you give us an update on the Pentagon City PDSP update?
Yes, I can. Thank you, Commissioner Lantelmi. Excuse me. First, on behalf of the co-chairs and the consultants and staff, thank you very much for I'm thanking commissioners for participating in the workshops that we've been having on various topics having to do with the update. We're moving into sort of denser, pardon the pun, issues and policies now. So I'll just sort of read that off. You can find this on the webpage on the county website. In February, we're going to actually be looking at land use scenarios. That's really the meat of the issue. In March, we will be presented with scenario findings and a draft policy statement. Recall that the fundamental chore or work here has to do with how much additional density can Pentagon City sustain, and how would it sustain that density given the road network and given the road network and the livability scenario, as well as the mode splits. So we'll be hearing more information about that in March. In April, we'll be given an updated policy strategy, and all of this, of course, will be reviewed by the community. In May, we will be talking about community review themes, and if all goes well, we have a very aggressive schedule here. In June, we are looking at PDSP adoption strategy and implementation. I don't think that means the whole process ends in June, but much of it does. The community input part of the strategy ends then. So please stay engaged. If you have any questions, Commissioner Lantelmi and I are very happy to either answer it, or if we can't, we can talk to the consultants or other stakeholders in the process on your behalf. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Siegel. We also have our minutes from our December meetings. Do we have any? Let's see, the first one was from the December 2nd meeting. Can I get a motion for December? That was December 1st. I'm sorry, December 1st meeting. We've all reviewed it. Can I get a motion to accept those?
Commissioner Lynn, tell me, I just had a question. Did you want a quick update on PFRC or no?
Yes, I do, as a matter of fact. Sorry, I skipped that, didn't I? Yes, Commissioner Steinberger, please give us an update on the PFRC. Commissioner Steinberger is our new chair of the PFRC, by the way.
Thank you. So basically the only thing going on with PFRC right now is we've had a first meeting on the Arlington Transit Bus Operations and Maintenance Facility for that project. The second meeting is coming up on February 17th. So we have a little time, but obviously would welcome other members from Planning Commission who would just like to sit in on that virtually as well. But I will be there with the other assigned commissioners to that project. So thank you.
Thank you much. Is there anything popping up from on PFRC from the school board?
Not that I've seen yet.
Thank you. That's good to know. Okay, and now let us then move on to the minutes of the last meetings. Can I get a motion for the December 1st, except the December 1st minutes?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, Mr. Commissioner Schroll.
I move adoption of the meeting minutes from the December 1st, 2020 meeting of the Arlington County Planning Commission.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner Weir?
Aye.
Commissioner Siegel?
Aye.
Commissioner Schroll?
Aye.
Commissioner Guerin?
Aye.
Commissioner Morton?
Aye.
Commissioner Patel? It's not here, I'm sorry. Commissioner Steinberger?
Aye.
Commissioner Bagley?
Aye.
Commissioner Peterson?
Aye.
Commissioner Sarli?
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Can we get a motion for the Thursday, December 3rd recess meeting? And the minutes for those.
Mr. Chairman, I move adoption of the meeting minutes from the December 3rd, 2020 meeting of the Arlington County Planning Commission.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Gearing. Commissioner Weir?
Aye.
Commissioner Siegel?
Aye.
Commissioner Schroll?
Aye.
Commissioner Gearing?
Aye, all of that.
Aye.
Commissioner Morton?
Aye.
Commissioner Steinberger?
Aye.
Commissioner Bagley?
Aye.
Commissioner Peterson?
Aye.
Commissioner Sarli?
Aye.
And I will vote aye as well. Thank you. The minutes for both meetings are accepted. As you have noted from Clerk Johnson that the 2020 annual report draft has been circulated. If anybody has any further comments or edits on it, please forward them to Commissioner Guerin and to me. Copy of Ms. Johnson. We also have the Planning Commission schedule out for 2021. Thank you, Ms. Johnson. Is there anything more we need to do with that?
Is that your meeting schedule you're referring to?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, you just need to adopt the schedule that you all approve of the dates that have been submitted, and the dates in yellow, of course, are not our regular Monday, Wednesday dates. They might be a Tuesday, Wednesday, or a Tuesday, Thursday dates.
Okay, well, I move that the Planning Commission accept the schedule Planning Commission schedule for 2021 as written by Clerk Giselle Johnson.
Second.
Second. Thank you, Commissioner Weir. Commissioner Weir, your vote.
Aye.
Commissioner Siegel.
Aye.
Commissioner Schroll.
Aye.
Commissioner Guerin.
Aye.
Commissioner Morton.
Aye.
Commissioner Steinberger.
Aye.
Commissioner Bagley.
Aye.
Commissioner Peterson.
Aye.
Commissioner Sarli.
Aye.
And I vote aye as well. Okay, we have our schedule for the year. You also saw that Madam Clerk has sent around the 2021 Planning Commission liaison assignments. Thank you all for responding on that. You'll note some of you, I did leave you on an assignment if no one else had accepted it. If you had it last year and nobody else wanted it, even though you didn't list it, you're still on it. So if that is something you'd rather not do, let me know. Otherwise, I'll let those stand. Otherwise, I do thank all of you for responding. And we do have, I think this time, all of our liaison assignments filled. Let's see.
Commissioner Lynn, tell me.
Yes,
I had a question on that. Did you send that email around today? I'm not sure I saw it. The
Commissioner, Ms. Johnson sent it around. It was a whole bunch of attachments.
Oh, okay. I may have just missed it. I'll find it. Thank you.
Yeah, we have it all. I also want to note that I have scheduled a public working session of the Planning Commission that will be held jointly with the Transportation Commission on Monday, January 25th at 7 p.m. It's scheduled to be a 90-minute meeting, and it'll be a further briefing and discussion on the county manager's proposals for their residential parking permit program. If you have any further questions about that for me to send on to staff, please get them to me so I can get them to give Mr. Krim time to be able to respond to those. This is similar to a committee meeting in that it is not required attendance. It will not be an action item, but it will be an opportunity to question staff further about this issue. As you may or may not know, the county board has decided not to consider this until their February meeting at the earliest. There's been a good amount of community interest in this matter, not surprisingly. A number of us have been fielding questions from community members. I've been able to push some of those on to staff to be able to consider those. So anyway, keep that in mind for January 25th. And finally, if you haven't done so already, as Mr. McIsaac mentioned, our financial and real estate disclosure forms have been sent out. Everything's online now. I've done mine. They're actually pretty easy. I noticed that Commissioner Schroll has his hand raised. Please.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I was wondering, as you were mentioning the joint session with the Transportation Commission, whether there would be a meeting or a session with the county board this year, a work session that we normally do with the county board.
I have not heard any schedule for that yet. I'm presuming we will have one at some point, but that has not been raised yet by the county board.
Okay.
Other than that, I think that's pretty much what I have. I want to thank everybody, staff, applicants, members of the public who may be watching, for your time and consideration on this evening. And the item today was expected to go to the county board on either January 23rd or 26th. I will be representing the county board. I know everyone has chosen their months to represent us before the county board for the coming year. Other than that, I have nothing further. Thank you all. If there's any final questions, now's the time to raise them. Otherwise, I think I'd say that this meeting is adjourned. Good evening to all of you, and I'll see you at the committee meetings we have coming up.